Yeah, 3 6. I pray this whole world gets saved. They don't have to worry about all the tribulation. There are people getting saved in the tribulation that didn't hear the word of God, because God's making sure everybody has the chance to get saved from all age groups. But right now, everybody's heard the word of God right now. So they've had their many chances to get saved. They've heard it. They've heard it. I've 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 mentioned it to everybody. I hand out soul winning tracts. Even William Ashbury does it, and Bob Schofield, and everybody. We lay soul winning tracts everywhere around the world, at parking lots, amusement parks. We lay them in the bushes. We lay them inside the bathrooms. We just lay them in the haunted houses everywhere. So when the people clean up and rearrange it to back at a amusement park ride again and not a haunted house to walk through, they can go through the Pompeii and say, oh, what's this, a Sony track? Oh, and they could get saved like that. I've seen a lady pick one up at the zoo, or the race car thing, and just sitting there reading it. I said, thank you, Jesus. Lets me know that people are actually getting saved reading these things. And a charter member, I can't think of his name, he did the same thing. And a lot of people come to church through seeing soul winning tracts laid out everywhere. Or they might see the teens of Mark Taylor and Petty Taylor doing Polaroid Panic. That's where they get a whole bunch of teens packed into a telephone booth. Well, that was back in the day. I don't think you'd find a telephone booth. Superman, Clark Kent would have a problem there unless you go revolving kind. That's why they did it for Christopher Reeve one, because telephone booths are slowly fading out. And rotary dials, and now cell phones, and the cord phones are going, not cords no more. We're doing the Nikola Tesla's free energy wireless the way he wanted it, but we're now doing it now. Radio controlled and all that, all wireless. Eventually, these cords for headphones will go wireless. We kind of can go wireless. We can, some headphones you got to charge them, but you don't need a plug. But there's some you can use as a plug, or you can unplug it and use wireless through a Bluetooth. I mean, we had VCRs and cassettes and record players and 8 tracks and all that. Some of that stuff comes back because God says history repeats itself. And somewhere in the Bible it said there's nothing new under the sun. In other words, what you think is new has already been done. Even popular science. There must be Christians in popular science and popular mechanics, because they say, you think it's new, think again. Because it's usually based on something else. It's like Copper's Portal illusion is based on, I can't think of that illusion builder guy, and I got that book. Oh, Guy Jarrett. A lot of the illusions that I got, the Complete Jarrett, it's got all these illusions in here that are based on stuff that magicians today use. Because magicians today, from the 1980s on up in the 70s, they used the technology. But back in Houdini's day and Howard Thurston's day, they couldn't see the technology Guy Jarrett was saying, because they weren't used to big stage illusions. But Guy Jarrett was born before his time. It's almost like he's a time traveler, because Guy Jarrett would be in the 70s and 80s kind of way, because his technology would be like Jim Steinmeier of today, because magicians can see that technology and use it, or use part of the principle and add a little twist to it. Well, you get the gist of it. All inventors come up and create ideas that's based on the past and add new stuff. Like the flying rig that Copperfield used, flying like Peter Pan. They used computers to counterbalance the weight and everything. Back in the day, it was kind of hard to counterbalance the weights and all that. But you work with it. And if you have no trap door, then you got to work it the wire rig in a different way with the gooseneck. And then Sandy Blandy ladder suspension. He asked, is there a hoop that has a gap in it so you can pass it complete over. And Magician said, no, we ain't never had one of that. So he went to NASA, and they made a precision thing. It took a while to get it right, but once he got it right, then he can make a mass model of it, and now he can make it in plastic, he can make it in steel, metal, and now they got magnet versions where you use a strong magnet that it does the same thing. But you use a girl's necklace concept. You hit that little lever, but in this case it's real tiny, and you hit it, and it'll open up to go straight all the way. Even my dad Marcel, when he saw that on the Great Wall of China special, he said it went right over, didn't it? I said, yep. I said, that's the same illusion he did at Chrysler Hall, to the same music of "Come Fly With Me," Frank Sinatra, "Come Fly, Fly Away." And then some other illusion, and my dad said, well, Bill, how many illusions do you think he has? Well, back in the day, you probably didn't have that much, but my dad went to heaven the year 2010, a few days before Thanksgiving. He got promoted to heaven, and I don't think he got to see that Copperfield got to do even more big illusions, including a dinosaur illusion based on his childhood dinosaur, and an alien called Blue, and then used the ghost illusion idea, but you make it into a UFO. I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen the history book I got at Barnes & Noble. We had to go long distance to get it. If they had a Barnes & Noble over here, even Bob Scoot said, all we need is a Barnes & Noble over here and we'll be good to go. Because we'd have to go long by the Greenbrier, and it's hard to do that, all the traffic. But we did it because we need to get that book. And then Tommy was able to get a book on the history of Battlestar Galactica from the past to the present. And Bobby Banshee Robert Story was able to get The Nightmare Before Christmas CD, and I think a book or a video, movie, DVD, whatever. And anyway, so it all worked out. Miss Joy gave us money so we could have like an ice cream and a lemon tea or a soda, I can't remember. But we had a cheesecake. Everyone picked a different cheesecake. But because Barnes & Noble on the side has like a little side restaurant there. But I know there's some other Barnes & Nobles where it's just a bookstore. There's no, to my knowledge, there's not a restaurant unless they want to mimic the other ones, I don't know. And Walmart wants to mimic Amazon, where you wave your hand and you bought your groceries. There are places, even at Farm Fresh, they remodeled, and before they remodeled, I showed a pamphlet. I should have kept it. It showed where you just wave your finger, and I've seen the commercial. The lady's excited. I don't have to bring my purse anymore. I just wave my finger and buy the groceries. Nothing against her, but she needs to get saved because that's connected to the mark of the beast. I mean, where you buy your groceries by a mark on the hand or a mark on the forehead. Now, Jesus is going to give us a mark on the forehead with his mark, so cattle brand to know we are his. But, you know, the mark of the beast, you don't want that. You'd rather want Jesus' mark, and so he knows we are his. I mean, he knows who we are, but he just, see, God lets us learn all that stuff because to get us prepared. I mean, cattle branding, cattle. Jesus going to cattle brand us with his mark to know we are his. The devil is going to put the mark of the beast, 6666, and you can only use that mark to buy groceries and all that stuff. But eventually, the devil and all his angels and the lost that's got the mark of the beast will be sent to the fiery furnace and burn in hell forever and ever in the fiery furnace where the worm dieth not. And all your cravings, you'll want it more and more. Like if you crave cigarettes and alcohol and whatever, drugs, if you never got saved, you're going to crave it for the rest of your life in the fire. You'll burn in torture and torment. Whereas if you're saved, you're at peace, you walk with Jesus, and you talk to the disciples, and you could probably see a video of the history of the disciples and your life, and we get to see Genesis all over again. That's Pastor Asher's message, Mike Asher, that the the earth is going to be, even Pastor Cole said that it'll be a new earth, a new heaven. Same earth, just remodeled. The earth will be burned up and remodeled to start anew. And the new heaven will be shaped like a cube. And Tommy talked to one of the evangelists or whatever. We usually do the heart guy, but he wasn't available at the time, so we asked another guy, and he said, yeah, just Tommy said, it'll be like the thing on Star Trek, the cube characters. He said the name, but I can't think of it. Yeah, like that. But I'm also, now here's my idea. I'm thinking Jesus let Erno Rubix be born to come up with this cube, so us Christians will know and get the feel of the new heaven, because the new heaven is going to be shaped like a cube. It's going to be guarded by angels on all sides of the cube. And as Pastor Cole says, the new heaven will come down on the new earth. But it doesn't say if it lands on the ground or stays in midair. That is, it doesn't say. So God is letting us be surprised. So it's either going to be in midair in earth, or it can be, or it'll land on the ground. We don't know how it's going to be, but we do know that it's going to be coming down like a spaceship, be a cube. Anyway, the way things are, God's right around the corner. Tom Farrell, Ron Comfort, every missionary and evangelist has said that God's right around the corner, closer than you think. And if you look, you see it happening. God says that it'll be a time, this is in the Bible too, there'll be a time where mankind learns to fly like the birds. Look at the technology we have today. And look, now we got a special parachute, you fly like a bird. And stuff that was science fiction is now science fact. Fact is stranger than fiction. A lot of ideas from Twilight Zone, from Star Trek, Mission Impossible. I mean, all of that technology we're now using now. Because God said when He gets close and come back, knowledge will increase. Children getting smarter way earlier than ever before. All things automatic. There will be wars and rumors of wars. Look at all these shootings and police riots and gang riots and shooting in the malls and shooting in the theaters and shooting in the schools and copycat shooters. Wars and rumors of wars, not just wars in Iraq and all that. I see the big picture. And it'll be earthquakes in places never heard of before. There was one weatherman man said, that's strange. We never had an earthquake over in that area before. See? Jesus said if you're saved, your eyes are open to what's around that's going on this earth. Long time ago. They never had surveillance cameras as much as we have today. Even the churches had to have it inside and outside. We never had to protect everything. And bulletproof glass. We never had to go through all that. We could lay a bike out and it wouldn't get stolen because we trust each other. Nowadays, someone would steal it. Someone stole my wallet. They brought the wallet back. You think the money that I had would be there? No. It's gone. But they mailed the wallet back in the mail, minus the money. And for some reason they took my picture, as a young boy. I'm glad I got other pictures that are like that. I don't know if I ever got a copy of that one or not. But anyway, That was a good picture of me when I was young. Why would they want it? I don't know. But anyway, but you know what? Church members, when I would forget my wallet, you know what? The next day, either Wednesday or Sunday, hey, Bill, I was cleaning the van up and look what I found. And I said, thanks, Jerry Pageant. You're welcome. See, church members you can trust. The world that's not saved, you just can't trust because they'll rob you blind. I lost that wallet that came in the mail and I didn't have no money in it that first time around. It was in the mall, Chesapeake Square Mall. Someone, I was in one of those vibrating chairs. Tommy said to get in, sit in it. I go, I don't want to sit in that thing. Evidently, it vibrated and my wallet went out of my pocket. But the person who found it, we went up to the post office, the long distance one, not by here, and they said, oh, the mail already went out. Well, time we got back, my wallet was in the mailbox, but minus the money in the wallet and my young picture of me. But if I lost it at church, the church members would hand it to me, along with the money in it. So folks, get saved and be honest. If you get saved, you're honest and true. Anyway, it's good our church is expanding. We now got our first digital sign. I don't know what the original one we're going to get, but God is in control of everything. Even who he puts in the White House, it's God's timetable, as Pastor Cole's message says. Anyway, Pastor Asher and Pastor Coles and Pastor Mac Palmer and everyone, Pastor Dallas Ainley. Well, Pastor Dallas Ainley is now in heaven. He got promoted to heaven. Pastor Mike Asher coined the word promoted. So if a born-again Christian goes to heaven, they got promoted. And let's see, and cool Wayne Berry coined me a walking magic book. So I added a walking magic book full of knowledge. Probably Wayne Berry is probably saying that too, but when he said walking magic book, basically he's saying what I'm thinking too. A walking magic book full of knowledge. In other words, stage illusion, close-up, and all that. I'm a time machine on stage illusions, close-up magic, polar magic, mind reading, blindfold drive, everything. But there's always going to be an illusion I don't know, but I'll try to figure it out based on what I know. And if someone comes up with a better theory, then that's better too. My stuff is high-tech. Other magicians do low-tech. But then I learned that actually the method was low-tech. But my idea would work, even though it would be more expensive to make a plane disappear or reappear. I'm thinking high-tech elevators, do a Green Hornet, flip it over, raise the platform higher up, sun meets the horizon, Franz Harari style, and Penn and Teller have done it that way. Photorealistic cardboard cutouts and painting of the scenery to bring the object into play, or the object itself is a photorealistic picture, and have the angle right, then let it drop and look like it vanished. Man, it's all in your perspective. Have lookalikes, double twins, I can't think. Lookalike twins, mirror image, well, you get the idea. A lookalike a twin, Um, Christopher Hart illusionist doubles incorporates illusions, including the first part of the wall. I'll explain all that later on. I'm kind of out of breath talking all this much.